When the cameras stopped rolling and the laughter died down, the Cosby Show's picture-perfect family began to fracture in ways that would shock America to its core. What started as television's most beloved sitcom, a show that dominated ratings for nearly a decade and redefined how African-American families were portrayed on screen, concealed secrets that would only emerge years after its final episode aired. The actors who brought the Huxtable family to life found themselves trapped in a web of professional pressures, personal conflicts, and behind-the-scenes dynamics that the viewing public never suspected. But what drove some of the show's most talented performers to walk away from television gold? What toxic environment lurked beneath the wholesome exterior that made continuing impossible for those who dared to speak truth to power? The real reasons behind these departures reveal a darker side of television success that the network executives desperately wanted to keep buried forever. The Cosby Show premiered on September 20th, 1984, on NBC, instantly becoming a cultural phenomenon that would reshape American television and establish Bill Cosby as one of the most powerful figures in entertainment history. The show centered around the Huxtable family, with Bill Cosby playing Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, a successful obstetrician, and Felicia Rashad as his attorney wife Claire, raising their 5 children in an affluent Brooklyn brownstone. The series was groundbreaking in its portrayal of an upper-middle-class African-American family, countering stereotypes that had dominated television representations of black families for decades. The show's success was immediate and sustained, ranking as the #1 television program in America for 5 consecutive seasons from 1985 to 1989, a feat that few series have ever achieved in television history. NBC's financial investment in The Cosby Show paid dividends beyond anyone's expectations, with the series generating hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising revenue and syndication deals. The show became the cornerstone of NBC's Thursday night lineup, anchoring an entire evening of programming that became known as must-see TV throughout the 1980s and early 1990s. The cast included Felicia Rashad as Claire Huxtable, Malcolm Jamal Warner as son Theo, Tempest Bledsoe as daughter Vanessa, Keisha Knight Pulliam as youngest daughter Rudy, and Lisa Bonet as eldest daughter Denise. Each actor brought distinct personality and talent to their roles, creating ensemble chemistry that felt authentic and warm to millions of viewers worldwide. Questions arise about what pressures and conflicts developed behind the scenes as the show's success intensified and the stakes for maintaining that success grew higher with each passing season. The implications could suggest that the wholesome family dynamic portrayed on screen masked more complex and potentially troubling realities in the show's production environment. Lisa Bonet's departure from The Cosby Show represents one of the most significant and controversial cast changes in television history, though the full story of her exit has been shrouded in conflicting accounts and carefully managed public relations for decades. Bonet, who played eldest daughter Denise Huxtable, was arguably the show's breakout star among the younger cast members, developing a devoted fan following and establishing herself as a fashion and cultural icon. Her departure from the series occurred gradually, beginning with her character being written off to attend college at the fictional Hillman College, which became the premise for the successful spin-off series A Different World in 1987. However, Bonet's time on A Different World was brief and tumultuous, lasting only 1 season before she was removed from that show as well, officially due to creative differences that were never fully explained to the public. The official explanation for Bonet's problems centered around her pregnancy and marriage to rock musician Lenny Kravitz, which allegedly conflicted with the wholesome image that Bill Cosby wanted to maintain for the show's characters and cast members. Cosby publicly expressed disapproval of Bonet's personal choices and her evolving public image, which he felt was inconsistent with the values The Cosby Show represented. However, industry insiders and entertainment journalists have long suggested that the real conflict between Bonet and Cosby involved deeper issues related to creative control, personal autonomy, and inappropriate behavior that went far beyond concerns about her marriage and pregnancy. The power dynamic between the young actress and the established star created a situation where Bonet had limited ability to advocate for herself or challenge decisions about her career. The pattern of Bonet's removal from both The Cosby Show and A Different World suggests systematic efforts to marginalize and punish her for refusing to conform to expectations that may have extended beyond her professional responsibilities into inappropriate personal control and manipulation by those in positions of power over her career. Legal experts note that the entertainment industry during the 1980s provided fewer protections and support systems for young actors, particularly women, who found themselves in conflict with powerful male figures who controlled their career opportunities and public images. The lack of meaningful recourse for addressing workplace harassment or abuse meant that victims often had to choose between their careers and their personal integrity. Malcolm Jamal Warner's experience on The Cosby Show spanned the entire 8-season run, but his journey from enthusiastic child actor to conflicted young adult reveals tensions and pressures that affected his development and relationship with the production in ways that have only become clear in retrospect. Warner began the series at age 14, essentially growing up on camera while navigating the complex dynamics of a high-pressure television production. During the show's early seasons, Malcolm Jamal was consistently praised for his natural acting ability and professional demeanor, becoming a favorite among fans who watched him mature from a mischievous teenager into a responsible young man. His character Theo provided many of the show's most memorable comedic moments while also addressing serious topics related to learning disabilities and educational challenges. However, as Malcolm Jamal entered his late teens and early 20s, tensions began to develop between his desire for creative input and personal expression and the rigid control that Bill Cosby maintained over every aspect of the show's production and cast behavior. These conflicts reflected broader issues about artistic freedom and personal autonomy that affected many cast members. The financial success of The Cosby Show created enormous pressure to maintain the formula that had made it successful, leaving little room for cast members to explore different creative directions or express opinions that might conflict with Cosby's vision for the series and its characters. This creative stagnation became particularly frustrating for young actors who were developing their own artistic interests and career ambitions. Malcolm Jamal's post-Cosby career choices, including his focus on music, directing, and more diverse acting roles, suggest a deliberate effort to establish an identity separate from his Theo Huxtable character and the constraints that came with that association. His reluctance to discuss certain aspects of his Cosby Show experience in detail has fueled speculation about difficulties that may have influenced his eagerness to move beyond that chapter of his career. The psychological impact of spending formative years under intense scrutiny and control within a television production environment can have lasting effects on young performers' personal development and professional relationships. The pressure to maintain a wholesome public image while dealing with normal adolescent challenges and emerging adult desires for independence creates conflicts that can persist long after the cameras stop rolling. Tempest Bledsoe's experience as Vanessa Huxtable throughout the series' run provides insights into the challenges faced by young female performers working within The Cosby Show's production environment. Bledsoe began the series at age 11 and spent her entire adolescence and transition to young adulthood within the show's demanding schedule and controlled atmosphere. Unlike some of her castmates, Bledsoe remained with the series for its entire run, but her limited career opportunities following the show's conclusion and her reluctance to discuss certain aspects of her experience suggest that her time on the series may have been more complex and challenging than her professional demeanor indicated during production. The restrictive nature of The Cosby Show's production environment, where Bill Cosby maintained tight control over cast behavior, personal appearance, and public statements, created particular challenges for young women who were developing their own identities and career aspirations while working within these constraints. Industry observers have noted that several young female cast members from The Cosby Show faced unusual difficulties transitioning to adult careers in entertainment, suggesting that their experiences during the show may have created obstacles or psychological barriers that affected their subsequent professional development and personal confidence. The power dynamics inherent in successful television production can be particularly damaging to young performers who lack the experience and support systems necessary to recognize and address inappropriate behavior or exploitation. The financial success and public acclaim surrounding The Cosby Show created additional pressure to maintain silence about any problems or conflicts that might threaten the show's reputation and commercial value. Contemporary discussions about workplace harassment and abuse in the entertainment industry have highlighted patterns of behavior and relationship dynamics that were often overlooked or minimized during previous decades, when protections for young performers were less comprehensive and reporting mechanisms were less effective or trusted. The supporting cast members and recurring actors who appeared on The Cosby Show throughout its run experienced varying degrees of satisfaction and success, but several notable departures and limited return appearances suggest that the production environment created challenges that affected multiple performers beyond the main cast members. Many actors who appeared in guest roles or recurring parts on The Cosby Show have remained notably silent about their experiences, which is unusual for performers who worked on such a successful and culturally significant series. This silence contrasts sharply with other successful sitcoms from the same era, where cast members typically share fond memories and positive anecdotes about their experiences. The tight control that Bill Cosby exercised over The Cosby Show's production extended to guest stars and supporting actors, who were expected to conform to strict behavioral and professional standards that went beyond typical television production requirements. This level of control created an atmosphere where creative expression and personal autonomy were limited for everyone involved in the production. Several actors who appeared on The Cosby Show early in their careers have subsequently achieved significant success in other projects, but few have publicly credited their Cosby Show experience as being particularly beneficial to their professional development or personal growth. This pattern suggests that the production environment may not have provided the nurturing and supportive atmosphere that the show's public image projected. The entertainment industry's evolution regarding workplace standards and professional conduct has created new awareness of practices that were considered normal during the 1980s, but would now be recognized as inappropriate or potentially harmful to performers' well-being and career development. The financial arrangements and contractual obligations for The Cosby Show cast members created additional layers of control and dependency that may have made it difficult for performers to leave the series, even when they experience problems or conflicts with the production environment. Bill Cosby's role as executive producer and star of The Cosby Show gave him unprecedented control over cast hiring, firing, and contractual terms, creating a power structure where cast members had limited recourse for addressing grievances or negotiating better working conditions. This concentration of power in a single individual created potential for abuse that industry standards have since evolved to address. The syndication deals and residual payments from The Cosby Show created long-term financial relationships between cast members and the production company, potentially creating ongoing pressure to maintain positive public relationships and avoid statements that might jeopardize these financial benefits. Young cast members and their families may have been particularly vulnerable to financial manipulation or coercion, as their earnings from the show represented substantial sums that could influence their willingness to address problems or conflicts that might threaten their continued employment and financial security. The lack of independent representation and advocacy for child actors during the 1980s meant that young performers often relied on their parents or guardians to protect their interests, but these adults may have been influenced by the financial benefits of continued employment or intimidated by the power and influence of established industry figures. Contemporary protections for child actors include more comprehensive oversight of financial arrangements, working conditions, and educational requirements, reflecting recognition that the previous system provided inadequate protection for young performers' long-term well-being and career development. The cultural impact of The Cosby Show created additional pressure on cast members to maintain positive public images and avoid statements or behaviors that might damage the show's reputation or legacy. This pressure persisted long after the series concluded, as cast members remained associated with the show's cultural significance and social impact. The show's groundbreaking portrayal of African American family life carried symbolic weight that extended beyond typical television entertainment, creating expectations that cast members would serve as role models and representatives of positive values both during and after their involvement with the series. These cultural expectations may have made it particularly difficult for cast members to discuss negative aspects of their experiences or to pursue career directions that might be perceived as inconsistent with the wholesome image that The Cosby Show projected to the public. The subsequent revelations about Bill Cosby's criminal behavior have created new complexities for former cast members, who must navigate public curiosity about their knowledge of or involvement in activities that occurred during the show's production while protecting their own reputations and privacy. The burden of responding to questions about Cosby's behavior while managing their own careers and personal lives has created ongoing challenges for cast members who were primarily children or young adults during the show's production and who may have had limited awareness of or involvement in activities that occurred outside their direct experience. The entertainment industry's relationship with The Cosby Show's legacy has evolved dramatically since the criminal charges against Bill Cosby became public, creating new pressures and opportunities for former cast members to share their experiences and perspectives on their time with the production. Television networks and streaming services have made various decisions about continuing to air The Cosby Show reruns, reflecting ongoing debates about separating artistic achievements from the personal conduct of those involved in their creation. These decisions affect the ongoing financial benefits that cast members receive from syndication deals and residual payments. The changing cultural conversation about workplace harassment, abuse of power, and accountability in the entertainment industry has created new expectations for transparency and honesty about past experiences, potentially conflicting with contractual obligations or personal desires for privacy that may prevent full disclosure of problems or conflicts. Contemporary discussions about the responsibility of institutions and colleagues to address inappropriate behavior have raised questions about what cast members knew about Bill Cosby's conduct and what obligations they may have had to report or address problems they observed or experienced. The complex legacy of The Cosby Show's cultural impact and artistic achievements continues to evolve as new information emerges about the production environment and the experiences of those involved in its creation, particularly the young performers who spent their formative years within its influence. Educational initiatives and industry reforms aimed at protecting young performers have been influenced by recognition of the inadequate protections that existed during The Cosby Show's production era, leading to improved oversight and support systems for child actors in contemporary television and film production. The stories of individual cast members' experiences and career trajectories following The Cosby Show provide valuable insights into the long-term effects of childhood fame and the challenges of transitioning from successful child actor to independent adult performer in the entertainment industry. The ongoing evolution of discussions about The Cosby Show and its impact reflects broader cultural changes regarding accountability, transparency, and the responsibility of powerful figures in the entertainment industry to maintain appropriate professional relationships and working environments for all participants, particularly vulnerable young performers. The revelation of previously hidden aspects of The Cosby Show's production environment and cast experiences continues to influence contemporary conversations about workplace culture in the entertainment industry and the importance of creating safe, supportive environments for all performers regardless of their age, experience level, or position within the industry hierarchy. As former cast members continue to navigate their careers and personal lives decades after The Cosby Show concluded, their experiences provide important lessons about the need for continued vigilance and improvement in protecting performers' rights, well-being, and professional development within the entertainment industry. The complex legacy of The Cosby Show serves as a reminder that public success and cultural achievement do not necessarily reflect the private experiences of those involved in creating that success, and that the responsibility for maintaining ethical and supportive working environments extends to all levels of the entertainment industry, from executives and producers to agents, managers, and fellow performers. The ongoing conversations about The Cosby Show and its impact demonstrate the importance of creating space for honest discussion about difficult experiences and the need for continued evolution in industry standards and practices to ensure that the mistakes and oversights of the past are not repeated for future generations of performers. The courage required for cast members to speak honestly about their experiences, particularly when those experiences conflict with public perceptions or involve powerful figures who continue to wield influence in the industry, highlights the ongoing challenges faced by those who seek to address workplace problems and advocate for better treatment of all entertainment industry participants. The lessons learned from The Cosby Show's hidden history continue to inform efforts to create more equitable, safe, and supportive working environments in contemporary television and film production, ensuring that the artistic achievements and cultural impact of entertainment projects are not built upon the exploitation or mistreatment of those who bring them to life. The importance of believing and supporting performers who come forward with accounts of inappropriate behavior or workplace problems has been reinforced by the gradual emergence of stories about The Cosby Show's production environment and the recognition that power imbalances and industry pressures can prevent victims from seeking help or speaking out about their experiences until long after the fact. The responsibility of audiences, critics, and industry professionals to look beyond public images and commercial success to understand the human cost of entertainment production has become increasingly important as stories like those surrounding The Cosby Show demonstrate the potential disconnection between public perception and private reality. The ongoing effort to create more transparent, accountable, and supportive entertainment industry practices reflects recognition that the well-being of all participants, particularly young and vulnerable performers, must be prioritized alongside artistic and commercial goals to ensure that the industry can continue to create meaningful and culturally significant work without causing harm to those who dedicate their talents and efforts to that creation. If you're as shocked by these hidden truths about The Cosby Show as we are, go ahead and like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What surprised you most about the real reasons behind these departures? Do you think more former cast members will eventually share their complete experiences? We want to hear your perspective on how the entertainment industry has evolved since this era and what still needs to change. Then, hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our deep dives into the untold stories behind television's biggest shows and the real experiences of the performers who brought them to life. Thanks for watching.